This is video 3 of the EDR Pilot tutorials. In this video I'll be giving you a demonstration of how to complete a deemed MV spreadsheet. The video will be in 3 parts, so I'll start with just a bit of background to the deemed approach. I'll then go on to give a demonstration of how you actually complete a deemed spreadsheet before finishing with a summary. So the deemed approach itself does not involve the use of any meter readings. You simply input the details of your existing and replacement equipment into a spreadsheet, and including the time of use, and it will automatically calculate the winter peak savings for your project. Important point though is that you cannot deem savings yourself, and in fact the only way you can use the deemed approach is if you've got one of the technologies listed here in your project. So lighting replacement, lighting controls, motors and variable speed drives, process chillers, heating controls, retail display cabinets, or professional refrigerated storage cabinets. So each of these has their own separate deemed spreadsheet, and you'll need to make sure, if you want to use the deemed approach, that you use the correct one. But you cannot deem savings for anything else that's not listed on this list here. Quick word for those thinking about doing the lighting replacement deemed approach. If you are looking to do the deemed savings lighting replacement approach, your project must involve the replacement of the whole luminaire. So that includes the lamp, fitting and control gear. If you've got a project that involves the replacement of the lamp only in an existing fitting, that is not eligible for the deemed approach to the lighting replacement. The reason being that lamps can interact in different ways with existing fittings, so it's not considered to be suitable for the deemed approach. So you can still do lamp-only projects, you just can't use the deemed approach. You would have to use the metered approach if you had a lamp-only replacement project. So if you're using the deemed lighting replacement approach, make sure that it involves the replacement of the whole luminaire, the lamp fitting control gear. Before you start, you need to make sure you've got the information you need to hand to fill in the spreadsheet. So there's 3 things you need. So first is the details of your existing and replacement equipment. So that includes the type and model of both the existing and replacement equipment, the kilowatt values of the existing and replacement equipment, their location and the quantity being installed and replaced. You'll also need the time of use of your equipment over the winter peak period, so the winter peak being November to February, weekdays 4 till 8 p.m. So you'll need to provide that information into your spreadsheet to calculate the peak kilowatt savings of your project. And finally, you also need to provide evidence to support the replacement equipment included in your project. So it's only the replacement equipment that you need to provide evidence for, not your existing equipment. What that means in practice is providing a technical specification or potentially a supplier quote to substantiate the kilowatt values for each replacement equipment type in your project. So for example, if you're installing, say, 20 pumps of 2 different types, you would need to provide technical specifications for the 2 different pump types. So the deemed spreadsheet themselves have 4 parts. This is where you would download them on that link, but I'll show you in a moment where you can find them. So the 4 parts, as I say, each one has its own kind of slightly different, unique structure, but they all share a common 4-part structure. So they all have a cover sheet, which is very simple and straightforward. They have data input tabs where you put the details of your existing replacement equipment, a help tab, and an actual time of use tab. So I will now switch over to the website to show you where you can download these documents and how to fill them in. So you go to the electricity demand reduction page as shown here, click on supporting information and documents page, scroll down to the measurement and verification manual and forms link, click on that. You'll see here it's got the measurement and verification manual and supporting appendices, so all the guidance here is these 3 documents. And then beneath that you've got your actual MV document. So here is the summary sheet which you complete at the end once you've calculated your savings. And here's where you actually find the deemed measurement and verification plan. So you would click on that, a zip file downloads, you then click on that, and then you would find the relevant deemed calculator for whatever the relevant technology is in your project. So if you're doing motors or a variable speed drive, you would download this one, lighting controls, lighting replacement, etc., etc. So that's where you download, and then you would fill in your spreadsheet. I'm not actually going to download any of those. I'm going to use one of the examples pre-completed that we've uploaded for you to take a look at. So at the bottom here there's some examples of both the metered and deemed approaches. So I'll just click on that. Again, a zip file downloads. And what I'll do now is just download the example deemed MV plan. So if I double click on here, that will download. So the example that's been uploaded is for the professional refrigerated storage cabinets. So that's just one of the 7 different spreadsheets that you can use. Each one is slightly different, but this is just an example, and the same principles will apply for each. So we land first on the cover sheet. You can see very straightforward here's participant ID, application ID, the organisation name, and who's completing the spreadsheet. Short summary of the actual project is included here, so that includes the existing replacement equipment and relevant details of the actual project, number of sites, etc. You'll see that actually once you've completed the existing units tab and proposed units tab, what the spreadsheet actually shows on the cover sheet is what your existing kilowatt is and what your proposed kilowatt is. So 127.54 add 75 for proposed, and then it gives you a total kilowatt savings, so the difference between the two. So it automatically displays, and that key here shows you that the grey boxes are all automatic calculations and white boxes are when you actually provide inputs. So just moving into the information you have to provide. So first, the existing units. So remember, this is just the professional refrigerated storage cabinet units example, but it might be, if you're using a different deemed approach, it will be for a different technology. First thing before you start to note, which is important, is you've got a key here which shows you that if it's dark blue, that means it's free text, so you just put information directly into the cell yourself. If it's red, then you must choose from an option from the drop-down list provided. So that's really important. So blue is free text, red is drop-down. You must use the drop-downs where they're shown. So just moving through to give you a sense of the kind of information you provide, you can see here that there's a description of the unit and location. We have site codes and the quantity. These are all blue, so they're all free text. You just put them directly in there. We can see there's 5 sites, sites from 1 to 5 there. Temperature range we can see is a drop down, so we would have to indicate the relevant option that applies. We'll leave that as freezer low temperature. Age of unit ditto is red, so it means it's another drop down. We indicate the age there. Blue is a free text, so we then put in the power rating, and so on as we go through. So all of that's relatively should be straightforward. At the end of the spreadsheet, after putting all the information about the details of your existing equipment, you then indicate the time at which your equipment is operational over the winter peak period. So the winter peak is November to February, weekdays, 4 till 8 p.m. So you start first here with the 4 till 8 p.m. So you need to indicate whether your equipment is operational over the period 4 to 8, and it's broken down into, you can see, 4 parts each hour, so 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. For each hour, you would indicate whether it's on for the full hour, the first half hour, second half hour, or not operational for each hourly period. So I will, just for argument's sake, say this one is just operational for the second half hour, and this one is actually not operational between 6 and 7. If you, as soon as you do that, what the spreadsheet will do will automatically update what your peak kilowatt value is, taking account of when your equipment is operational. So that will automatically calculate and update. Here, this column here is an important one. So this is a free text one. So these are red, so they're all drop downs. This one's blue, so it's a free text. And in this this column here, you would put your number of days over which your equipment is operational over the winter peak period. So that's November to February weekdays. So the maximum is 83 days. If your equipment's on less than that, then you would need to adjust that number accordingly. Finally, you just provide a description here of the operational period of your equipment as shown here. So exactly the same process for your then proposed equipment. Again, make sure that you do blue is free text inputs, red means you use a drop down to indicate the inputs, and again you put in the time of use, etc. What it will then do is automatically calculate based on the information provided, both the existing and proposed kilowatts, and you'll see that automatically calculates the total kilowatt savings for the technology, including the spreadsheet. So it's now 42.98, and that's because I've adjusted some of the inputs in the example. Help tab just gives you a bit more information if you need to, so you can just click and find a bit more information if you like on some of what's actually been asked for. And the actual time of use tab you can ignore because you don't need to provide anything on that until quite some time down the road. So once you've got your completed your deemed spreadsheet, it will give you a kilowatt savings, and if you've got more than one, you would sum them all together, and that would be the total for the deemed parts of your project, and you put that in your summary sheet. So this is the key number once you've finished that you would sort of take away from the process. So quick summary then, so make sure you have provided your technical specifications for each replacement equipment type and it matches your spreadsheet. So if you've got a pump that is 8 kilowatts and you've got a technical specification that says that it's 8 kilowatts, make sure that the information on your replacement equipment also matches that 8 kilowatts and also says 8 kilowatts, because if it doesn't match, your application won't be accepted. Once you've completed your deemed spreadsheets, you can calculate total expected savings. So deemed parts of your project, as I say, if it's just one spreadsheet, you would just take that value and put it in. If you have more than one, you would sum them and put it into your deemed MMV summary sheet. So checklist, you'll need to complete and then provide your completed deemed spreadsheet or more than one spreadsheet. If you've got more than one, you need to provide technical specifications for each replacement equipment type included in your project. And you also will input the total deemed savings into the summary sheet of your MMV summary sheet once you've finished completing them. In terms of where you can find a bit more information, so on the deemed approach, so go to chapter 2 of the measurement and verification manual. That provides all the information you'll need on the deemed approach. It's also worth, once you've chosen your approach and are confident you want to, pretty sure that you want to use it, is have a look at Appendix A, and you can actually look at the it gives a breakdown of all the different details and eligibility criteria for each of the different deemed approaches. So that is certainly worth a look once you've decided which one you're going to use. Here's our email, our website address. You would click on that and it looks like this, and you can find lots more information on the pilot there as well. If you've got any questions, you can email us at the address shown, so it's edr-project@dec.gsi.gov.uk, and you can also call us on 0300 068 8488. So I'll just quickly show you where you would download that information. So I showed you earlier where you would download the different MMV documents. Your MMV manual is just at the top and the appendix is just there, so that's where you download the documents from. That concludes video 3.